Right, Spiritual Visitations, and this was given to my mother in October 1975. Why people often ask, do we not see angels, just as people in the Bible appeared to? Many times, both in New and the Old Testament, you will find mention of visitations, which were in fact an impression, or something similar to a film strip, something seemingly visual, and yet very real and arresting to those witnessing it at the time. Perhaps it is this, and many other such accounts in all kinds of different writings, which has deceived mankind as to the true understanding of what a visitation really is. These experiences are not something purely visual, especially as in most cases the human eye is often not involved at all. If the other side wishes to contact someone chosen to serve humanity in some way, the mind of that person is attacked, which is quite a different matter from experiencing something purely visual. Before any kind of true understanding can be reached, a careful consideration and explanation of what the mind truly is must be understood. It is, of course, the voice of the spirit and the receiver of images, both good and bad, from spiritual spheres. It receives the thoughts, calculations, the memories, and all else that goes on within the precincts of the private inner person, the real true depths of a person's soul. It is to this that those here must apply if they wish to make contact with a living human spirit. This is not done, as people might imagine, simply by sending a winged angel or a spiritual being in a direct glowing visitation of splendour and glory, as the wishful thinking imaginations of mankind thinks it would prefer. Such a thing would possibly destroy the physical body of many people altogether. It's known that the brain, which can only be described as the physical machine of the mind, is connected to the central nervous system and works with the aid of electrical impulses. The mind and its receiving, calculating workings, functioning as one with the brain and the nervous system, which in turn controls the musculature and in fact the whole body in its entirety. If the nervous system is harmed, then the whole of the rest of the physical body responds accordingly. And so it was with the receiver of this original message. After she received the visitation sent to her, she became stiff all over and was left deeply shocked and in considerable pain. St. Paul was attacked by a blinding light and a voice from within saying, "Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?" The effect of this experience was to leave him blind, and he was prostrate for a period of 3 months, after which a healer was sent to him to release him from the effects of this experience. Only after this was he able to get up and go about the business he had been directed to do. Many others also who have experienced such visitations have taken some time to get over the physical and emotional shock of such a thing. The least harmful way to give a direct message to a member of humanity is to send a dream. However, this is not always possible, as it depends on the mental state of the person who must be contacted and the kind of life he or she is living. If a person is living an exceptionally busy life and their rest periods may be very deep, and such dreams as can be received may be so fragmentary as to be almost useless for this purpose. Some people are thrown into a kind of trance, which again is not always possible, just as hypnotists find that it is not always possible to hypnotize all his patients. For most people, then, there is only one safe way, which must be given by thought ideas, appearing to that person as his or her own. This works well enough for most ordinary people and does them no physical harm. Then such little work as they do in the service of a higher power is accomplished without their being aware of it, especially with those who have no spiritual beliefs and little or no wish to have any. Women are more receptive, as they do not have the male calculating brain and are motivated more in the direction of family and humanitarian issues. It is much more difficult to convey a thought idea to a busy calculating brain than to a person who is of a somewhat calm or even dreamy nature. All too often the thought ideas given to the busy calculating men of this world become so muddled with the recipient's own thoughts that only a fragment of the original idea ever gets put into practice. This is why so much that mankind could do to improve his lot is distorted by the muddled thinking and egos of recipients of these thought ideas, and the continual disasters that repeatedly happen in this world would bear witness to this. I think we've all had those feelings where we've suddenly done something out of character, and it saved us from something. I remember there was a period of time when I seemed to be driving magnetic cars, and I was driving up to London, and when you go the same way, you always use the same lanes in the road. And for some reason or other, I saw this old man on the other side of the road about to sort of pull out. And for some reason or other, I moved into the inner lane, which I almost never did. And then suddenly I was surrounded by wrecked cars. If I had been where I would normally have been driving, I would have been hit by this old man and all these other cars that the collision he caused. So many of us, that has happened, or we've suddenly felt we mustn't do something, or we have a feeling that someone's ill. So, there are lots of things we're all able to be got through to in some way. We should take more notice of it. That's the end of that one. Just a quickie.